Hey everybody, in this video we're going to be talking about 5 of our favorite TTRPGs that are out there ready to play right now.
Hey, if you're new here, I'm Dawn.
I'm Ryan.
And this is Roll for Initiative. We make videos here every week all about tabletop role-playing games and our other geeky interests, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos.
This video is not about Dungeons & Dragons or anything that is going on with D&D, Wizards of the Coast, or Hasbro. Hopefully in the future this disclaimer won't make any sense whatsoever. It's not what it's about. Let's not turn the comment section into that. Okay, on to what the video is about.
Yeah, we really wanted to highlight some really great, amazing role-playing games that are available right now if you are looking for something different for whatever reason.
All right. So kicking things off in the world of fantasy, I've listened to a bunch of podcasts in the world, and you've run it.
Yeah.
Which is Numenera.
I got to be in a game at Gen Con, and it's a very interesting system. It utilizes the Cypher system, which is from Money Cook Games. Numenera specifically is set in this fantasy feeling world, but it's actually kind of more sci-fi because it's like ancient technology that the modern people don't know how it works. All technology is magic.
All significantly advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic?
Yeah, I think
that's it, yeah.
The mechanics of the Cypher system are pretty simple to pick up because you only have a couple of abilities and then skills that you roll from, and all of your rolls are, or checks more so, because there are times where you don't even roll, are made based off of pools. And also these pools are how you keep track of damage. So you can take like intellectual damage versus physical damage. The other two cool things specifically about the mechanics are the ciphers, which are these kind of one-off magical-esque technologies that you can use, as well as intrusions, which are things that the game master can exchange experience points for getting control of your character for a moment. So it's usually like, okay, we're going to add a complication, or things are going to go a little bit awry here. But in exchange, you get some experience points. It's a game that you do level up pretty quickly. It's also a system that doing checks and the mechanics kind of don't get in the way very much because the players make all of the rolls. And then the game master runs things based off of various DC checks and stuff like that. So you aren't having a lot of back and forth of like, okay, I'm waiting for the game master to roll. It's just the players roll, and they roll for attacks, they roll for defense, they roll for checks. So yeah, if you are looking for kind of a fantasy with some sci-fi feel to it, I highly suggest checking out Numenera. The Cypher system works with kind of any genre of games, and they also have a number of other settings that you can run specifically using the Cypher system. We'll have links to all of these down in the description below.
A game that I really love. I have run it. I've run it at conventions, and we've even made videos about it here before, is Tales from the Loop. And there are some expansions to the lore, and there are some neat little adventures that are out there, but it's such a fun game. The idea is it is the world of the 1980s that never existed. It's based off of these really awesome paintings that then was an inspiration for the whole game system. It's all played with D6. I absolutely love it. Some of the things that I really like about it are, when I say the 80s that never was, it's like, well, fission technology or fusion technology or whatever was discovered back in the 40s. And so it's the 1980s, but there's advanced sciences, and there's maybe even like time travel and wormholes, and there's robots and mechs and dinosaurs that have been cloned and all of this cool stuff. But cell phones don't exist yet, and everyone's riding around on their bikes, and the Atari is top-notch, high-level gaming, and so it's really fun. Some of those things can maybe pose a challenge to brand new game masters, but I think that the book really does a great job of introducing you to the world and how to play it. I love that everyone in the game is a kid. If you get above, I think it's 15 or 16 years old, your your character ages out of the game because it really wants to have this sense of childlike wonder and that magic and adventure is still in the world like it was when we were all kids. And so it's a lot of fun. There's definitely a nostalgia factor to it if you're like me. Like, I'm 40. Like, so this is when I was growing up. And so there's a nostalgia factor there, but you definitely don't have to be a millennial or elder millennial or older to enjoy the game. It's a ton of fun. Like I said, played with all D6s. Character creation is really cool. And it's really designed that each session is like an episode of a television series. There is a television series that's out there. It kind of gives you the feel, but we're talking about the game. So anyway, definitely check out Tales from the Loop and check out our video about it if you want to know even more. It's a fantastic game. A big thanks to all of our patrons and especially to Alicia. Joining our Patreon is the most direct way that you can join our community and help us to continue to make videos and reviews and everything that we do. Plus, there's some pretty great perks like early access to videos and maps and more. So head over to patreon.com/rollforinitiative and check it out. Okay, now back to the video.
Possibly the most well-known on our list is Pathfinder.
Yeah, and we're kind of talking about Pathfinder 2nd edition.
Yeah.
Lots of people still play 1st edition. Both of them, I think, are really fun.
This is a game that, especially if you're looking for something that is mechanic heavy, has a great setting, as well as a bunch of pre-made adventure modules that you can run in. I think this is definitely the game for you. It is high fantasy. There are supplemental books that you can add in to get more of like a steampunk feel to it. It does have a lot of flexibility if you don't want to play in the setting that it comes with.
Yeah, there's tons of homebrew that's out there, and it's pretty easy to homebrew it. There's just a ton of content for Pathfinder. So yeah, absolutely, probably the best known. I'm sure you're not surprised that it's on this list. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It can get a little crunchy at times, but it's definitely worth dealing with the crunch and getting through those numbers in Pathfinder for the high fantasy, as well as the Starfinder if you definitely want some science fiction fantasy to put in there as well.
Yeah, and we've got a whole review on Pathfinder 2nd edition if you want to find out a little bit more on that. I'll put a link in the card and down in the description.
Yeah. To jump really hard into science fiction, I've got to go with Cyberpunk Red. It's by R. Talsorian Games. It's in the same world as the Cyberpunk video game that's out there. It's a ton of fun. It's incredibly creative. And it is that cyberpunk genre where you're running around and there's no magic. At least I don't think that there's, from what I've seen, there isn't magic. Maybe you can homebrew it, but I don't think that there's anything official. If I've said something wrong, the internet will let me know. But you can run around and you've, replaced your arm with cyberware, and there's, wet work stuff in your brain, and you're jumping into computer systems, and there's networking and edge running, and you've got your tanks, almost literally tanks running around. It's a ton of fun. The world of Night City, which is kind of the main city, the main setting that the game takes place in, is very fun and dangerous and dirty and gritty and grimy. But it's really cool. I especially love Cyberpunk Red as sort of it is the near future of our world with capitalism run rampant in the worst possible way. But there's still people that are just trying to make it work day to day, and it's a ton of fun. Everything is done with D10s or D6s. Character creation is a lot of fun, rich world, rich lore, and a lot of supplements that are out there for it. So yeah, if you want to do cyberpunk, if you want to do something that's science fiction for sure, check out Cyberpunk Red.
The last one I want to mention is Fantasy Age. Yeah. They also have a Modern Age that you can run the Expanse in. Which is
Expanse!
But the Fantasy Age system is a great... kind of a little bit more rules light system that really embraces the combat, roleplay, and exploration pillars of tabletop role-playing games. It's a D6 system. You roll 3d6, and one cool mechanic is there's one of your d6 is supposed to be a different color, and this is your stunt die. So when it rolls certain numbers, you get to do some cool stunts. In the core rulebook, you get a couple of classes, a couple of races. There are options to kind of customize and specialize these. So you can, just from this core rulebook, end up with some really interesting, diverse characters. The magic system in this runs with a mana pool, which I really like because that kind of allows a little bit of flexibility of like, I don't have X many this level spell slots. It's just, well, I can cast a whole bunch of very small spells, or I can cast a couple of big ones or some combination of that.
I like that feels like, oh, it's not spell, it's the like, I have this much magical ability before I pass out. That's kind of nice. I like the storytelling of that.
And in the core rulebook, you do get a sample setting as well as an adventure to run, but it is a very flexible system for kind of any kind of fantasy game that you want to run.
There's a ton of special mentions that are out there. Seventh Sea is a really cool system that we've both run in that is incredibly narrative and storytelling based. Savage Worlds is one that we've done a lot with.
And Savage Worlds is nice because it's a very, very flexible. You can run fantasy, you can run Western, you can run modern, kind of whatever setting you want.
Absolutely.
We've also done a number of reviews of indie RPGs, and I'll make sure to put a bunch of those down in the description below.
There are so many games and systems that are out there. What are some of the ones that you love? They can be big and well known within the RPG world, or maybe they're small and niche. Tell us why you love whatever it is that you love. And let's stick with focusing our conversation to what we like and why we like it. We don't like some things, and we don't always need to talk about it and keep it negative. Let's keep things positive in the comments below.
All right, so until next time, I'm Dawn.
And I'm Ryan.
And this is Roll for Initiative.
Bye. This is my thumbnail.
No.
I'm stretching. Give me a second. Get your fingers in the frame.